Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, you're tuned into the Lions Den, official source of UCCS Sports. I don't know about you, but I really loved that last segment, the Student Spotlight segment, and I really appreciate the hard work that went into that by those students here at UCCS in the Sports Broadcasting 2270. So great job. My hats off to those students for a fantastic job the first round of those, and I look forward to a lot more of those great segments coming up. But now what we want to do is talk a little bit about your UCCS women's soccer team, because they had quite possibly the best game of the season for them this past weekend as they defeat Western State 3-2 in what was the program's first ever hat trick by Michaela Mansfield, scoring 3 goals in one game. That's right, you heard me, 3 goals in one game. With that, she moves into first place all time for points in the program, goals in the program, shots on goal, and shots. Unbelievable, Michaela Mansfield. So, gentlemen, we got to talk a little bit about UCCS women's soccer, because we come in week in and week out, we give the breakdown about where they're at, and right now they're looking as good as they've looked all semester long, all season long. You put on your hard hat last week for the rebuilding.
And look what happened.
It looks like a foundation has been built over the weekend, Spencer.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about this. So first off, Michaela Mansfield, goals in the 5th, 13th, and 65th minute. How awesome is that?
That's incredible. I mean, just to have a hat trick even in one career is amazing. And for her to do it out of an entire program history, she's the only one. She's really stepped up, especially against this game against Western. They really needed the win. So she went out fighting and was able to do that, and I think that's incredible. I guess the foundation was poured. The hard hat worked. I mean, no, I'm not saying I was the one who got the win. The girls were, but it was that analogy that they needed to find something, and they obviously did this weekend. I don't know if it was they just needed to travel to Western because they had such a great game against them last year that they want to do it again, but they definitely showed some stuff that we didn't see with the forwards doing a lot of work this weekend, as well as the defense holding back and keeping it strong against the goal there for most of the game. So
a win for the Mountain Lions, an assist for Spencer Davis.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'll put it on my score sheet.
And 2 assists by Bailey Jameson, who had a couple of really great passes there to Michaela Mansfield to really help the Mountain Lions out. With that, she now has 10 points on the season, 3 goals and 4 assists through 10 games. So Bailey Jameson also doing great things for the Mountain Lions.
Yeah, like you said, this is laying the foundation for this team, and really it should have been 3-1. They let go a goal in the 89th minute of the game. So Grace Ramsden had her first win of the year, and then 7 saves. That's the most for her this season. So that is excellent. Looks like Grace Ramsden really catching up, and through this whole game, really Western State led the team, or led in shots past UCCS, and really led on shots on goal. So definitely give some credit to the defense right there, and Grace Ramsden, 7 saves, and just Michaela Mansfield. We just witnessed history. Hat trick, 3 goals in a game. Really can't express that and can't explain. And this is the Michaela Mansfield we all know, and glad to see it finally kind of show up.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that teams around the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference would be a little silly to take us lightly. Granted, the record, we're still 2-8 right now, but
yes.
I mean, we're 1 game back from a playoff spot with 6 games remaining in the regular season, and it looks, this is the team we kind of expected to see, the one that we've been seeing the last couple of weeks.
Right.
The wins are starting to come now, and I think this team could be a force if they build that confidence and they can really find their groove. This team could beat anybody in the RMAC.
Yeah, they only lost 6 seniors last year, but they still have a strong core, and that's what we really saw against Western. And a lot of players stepped up, and like you said, Bailey Jameson, Michaela Mansfield, but that defense, that back line really showed up. Sarah Severson, Chrissy Collins, Sammy Brown, all of them have been playing so hard. I guess so, but all of them playing so hard. But 6 games and only 1 game back right now from the playoff spot. It looks good. They just have to keep this momentum rolling now.
Well, Michaela Mansfield now, as a result of this, 60 points, which is first all-time program history, 25 goals, which is first all-time in program history, 178 shots, which is first all-time in program history, and shots on goal, 88, which is number 1 all-time in program history. So we've been mentioning her name quite a bit, but a hat trick is nothing to take lightly, and that is a huge feat in her career and in the history of the program. So hats off to her. Great job by Michaela Mansfield and the rest of the Mountain Lions. But what I really like, fellas, is that they're not just good on the field, they're really on top of things in the classroom.
Yeah.
We take pride here at UCCS in being student athletes. They're not athletic students, they're student athletes. So let's go ahead and just give you a rundown of this season's UCCS women's soccer honor roll members here. Bailey Jameson leads the list here with a 3.65 GPA. I think this is really important to exemplify. So I know it's not sports related necessarily, but it exemplifies the intelligence of our sport athletes.
Got to get done in the classroom.
So that's right. Bailey Jameson, again, 3.65 in business administration. You got Dana Shellhorn, a 3.87 in biology. That's quite impressive. Grace Ramsden, the goalkeeper, who's really coming into her own as of late, a 3.65 GPA in criminal justice. Savannah Schill, a 3.47 in biology. Jess Fries, a 3.88 in nursing.
That's impressive.
That is very impressive. Sammy Brown, a 3.61 in elementary education. Ann Odom, a 3.58 in geography and environmental studies. Bethany Lellefield with a 3.35 in biology. And Evelina Helgren with a perfect 4.0 in business administration. That was a lot of names right there, but all of those members of your UCCS women's soccer team have made the honor roll with those high-standing GPAs and very, very good degrees to boot. So hats off to all of those ladies. Again, not just getting it done on the field, but getting it done in the classroom and really showing what it means to be a mountain lion. They're going to win on the field and win in the classroom. So great job for them. How are we feeling now? Coming in this week talking some UCCS women's soccer.
Yeah.
How are we feeling?
I feel good. I like what Charlie said about, it's the talent's there. We have all the potential. We've said this for weeks now. And seeing a win, that again, just like the men's team, they can carry it or they can choose not to carry it, and it's all going to be on them. If they want to come together as a team and keep continuing to win, they will. If they decide to fall back, that's potentially a possibility too. We play some very hard teams. We played Mines this Friday. We've already seen them once, and they beat us. But if they come out with the potential that they had the last game, and they come out with wanting to get revenge on Mines, they have every right and every potential to do so. So we'll just have to see when that game comes around where we're actually going to be going. I think this weekend actually we'll have a good show on that against Mines and see where we're going to go. So.
Well, if they can pull together a string of victories, as I mentioned, 6 games remaining in the regular season, they could go in as the hottest team in the RMAC. If they pull together a winning streak here, like I said, that 2-8 record I think is very misleading as to the depth that this team has and the overall talent that the team has on it.
Yeah, I think, head coach Nicole Reinauer really challenged her team this week and, said won a game, so really going to be focusing on Western Satan. I think she really just challenged mainly the seniors on this team and really put a fire under Michaela Mansfield. And, I know we've been saying 3 goals, but this is a start of something. And it's a start of something that we are very excited to hear about, because when we came into the season, we were talking about expectations and what we really expected from each team. And we all said women's soccer was going to be up there in the top 3, top 2 teams, NCAA, maybe a tournament run, an RMAC run. And it's still out there. And I think that the team sees that they're only 1 game back from actually making playoffs and got their first ever RMAC tournament win last year, and a lot of those girls remember that feeling of playing well and winning and getting that attention from the media and the fans and UCCS. So I think they want to get back to that level, and like we've been saying, it all starts with 1 game, and that was that 1 game right there.
That was a big one. That was a big one. If we can see your Mountain Lions play like that each and every game, they're going to be a terror for the rest of this regular season and into the postseason. But we're going to have to see how all that works out this upcoming weekend, as they will be back in action here at home for 2 home games. We'll preview this upcoming Thursday for our preview show. But when we come back, we're going to break down your UCCS volleyball match from this past weekend, as they were also in action, also came away with a big win, and we'll tell you all about it as soon as we get done paying our bills right here on the Lions Den.